Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Zappy here, back again with Hunter Hunter. We're on episode 90. Holy fuck, we're getting on. We're getting on. Been through a lot. At this point, this is the longest show I've ever reacted to, I think. I mean, that's probably been a few episodes down the line, but, you know, the fact that I've reacted to 90 of these episodes, crazy. Nearly fucking 100 for Christ's sake. Anyway, so yeah, in the last episode, we had the rest of that last fight between Gon and Knuckle. Gon ended up knocking himself, basically conking out. He almost had him though, but obviously with the the fact that Knuckle wasn't really going out 100%, it doesn't really matter anyway. So yeah, but at the beginning of this episode, we're about to get into the fight between Gon and Knuckle, which will probably be the final fight between them two, and also Killua and Shoot as well. So that'll be good to see, because we haven't really. I mean, we've already seen some fights with Knuckle and whatnot, so we kind of know what he's about. Even though he hasn't been going all out, we kind of, we get the general idea. Whereas with Shoot, we haven't. So it's going to be interesting to see how that fight sort of pans out. And I guess they're going to be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess they're going to be doing it at the same time. I don't know. I could be wrong, because it would be. To be honest, it would be nice to have a 2v2 where they could swap out and sort of, like combine attacks maybe or something like that. That would be cool, and sort of help each other out during the fight. But I don't know, I guess maybe strictly for this fight it would probably be better just to have one-on-ones, because you've got to make sure that if something were to happen that you would be able to just fight by yourself and be able to, and have confidence in yourself that you can do that. So I don't know, maybe it's going to be one-on-one and then one-on-one afterwards. If that's the case, then, because at the end of the last episode I said this episode's probably going to finish this whole thing with with Knuckle and Shoot. But if it's going to be two separate fights, then it might continue on to the next episode. But it doesn't matter, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, yeah, so that fight's coming up. I think Bisky's gone now. I think she headed out. I might be wrong, but it felt like she was going to. And yeah, that's all I got. So yeah, nothing else to really say. We're just going to get episode 90 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, right. God, what a piss take of a half of an episode that was. Look at Knuckle just explaining the interest rates and how much aura can one expend, versus somebody else depending on what their attacks are, and fuck, like. I mean, because I'm just thinking, I don't know to what degree that really matters out of this fight, So it was essentially I mean, I guess aside from the amount of aura really that Gon ever has at one time, it doesn't really matter outside of this fight, right? I really don't think it does. How long was he going on about that for? It felt like it had to be up there, near up the 3/4 of half an episode. It had to have been. Jeez. Anyway, yeah. So Gon was using N. I'm sure that's what it was when he was because the aura was different, right? And it was spherical. So it had a radius. But that would have to assume that at that point Gon's N isn't actually that much, because that was right near him, right? But yeah, it didn't really pan out anyway. Knuckle was just too fast after all. And then so we got introduced to Knuckle's power redirector that adds interest over time. And correct me if I'm wrong, but so basically the main bits of it, and I haven't I don't have the time to go back through it and fucking and explain, or try and go back through it line by line and try and figure out all the different how much power Gon emits when he uses his Jajang Ken. So but the two I suppose main bits that I really got out of it was that you'll be stuck in a state of Zetsu once he goes into the sort of beyond his own aura and then into the borrowed aura, right? I can't remember if he said that there was 30 days or something, and that's what it was. Although that could have, I don't know, that could have just been depending on the amount of nen that he actually gave him. Depending on how much he was borrowed or whatever, it might change the time limit or whatever on how long he's in that Zetsu state. Which is interesting, because, I mean, I was thinking that maybe it's, in a way, is it really Knuckle going all out on that? Because, again, it's another way of being gentle, isn't it? Like, you know, I mean, I suppose in a case like it just now, I would have been more pissed off if it was a case of like Knuckle going out to kill Gon, I suppose, because then it would just be completely out of character. So I suppose it is a way of going all out that's a bit different. It's a fucking insane ability, that, though. That's crazy. Thinking about risky abilities, that's got to be a risky ability surely as well, because if I guess Knuckle wouldn't use it in an opponent that's stronger than him, I suppose. Because then it's like, then you're basically just decreasing your aura for oh God, I'm trying to think like how fights would like go with like, I suppose it's something we will get next episode, to be honest, because Gon is gonna have to go, like, he's gonna have to give enough aura back so that he can actually start hurting him again, because that was the other thing that I took from it, is that the aura that that Knuckle is lending out to Gon has to surpass that amount of aura given in order to even hurt him, which is crazy to me. That's got to be another one of those condition things, right? It has to be. It's just nuts. God, I'm just thinking, like, how would Gon have to get around this in order? Because basically he has to use up aura in order to get past the point of the, like, the specific numerical value of aura that Knuckles given out to him. So that's him expending aura that's going to do nothing anyway, you know? Like, it's not going to put any straight up damage on Knuckle. I feel like this is going to have to come down to a single fucking Jajanken then. Like, it's going to have to be like a one punch thing where it's just going to have to knock, like, you know, do him in one huge hit. Because I just don't think after Gon eventually gets past the aura that's been lended out to him, like, he's going to have that much left to even, you know, to really expend a lot, you know? So, yeah. That's crazy. The thing as well is, I don't think the actual power redirector thing actually takes into account the minuses. Like, it doesn't take away the amount that Gon has given back to Knuckle. It doesn't seem to, anyway. I mean, it's hard to really tell because Gon isn't dishing out as much aura in an attack as what Knuckle is the other way. So it'll always be adding. So we haven't really seen the takeaway. If the takeaway was to even be a thing, I don't even know if like, we wouldn't be able to see it at this moment anyway. It's something that'll pop up next episode. Once Gon actually does a trade where he does more, damage than Knuckle does. So yeah, and then we got to shoot, and he's got a fucking crazy power as well. So you were saying that he only has a power that activates when he must hurt someone because he doesn't like to hurt people, right? So that, I mean, I guess that goes in hand with his cowardice. I mean, I don't even know I don't think that's cowardice, like, because I mean, he was pegged as a coward. Like, that's the term that they chose to go with him. But I don't think it's cowardice to not want to hurt somebody. You know what I mean? Unless there's another facet of what he does that you know, is the reason why he's a coward. Like, because if it wasn't that he just didn't want to hurt someone, and it was, I just, you know, I don't want to fight, like, I don't like to fight, then I would get it, you know? But, yeah. It's strange. So he has these three hands, which I'm not sure what it is they actually do. Seemingly, it, like, what we got from it was that they were a distraction. Now that is a hell of a lot of, like, because what I imagine that would be is, Shoot would have probably had to have taken off his own arm for this power. Although if it only activates when he must hurt someone, then maybe it's a case of, like, he's normal when his power's not activated. It's strange that it's just like three floating hands. And then there's a cage. I feel like if we're going for the simple sort of route, then it would be that the hands are distractions, and it's really Shoot's hand that does the damage. When he hit Killua, he specifically hit him at that point, meaning that I thought that what would have been the case was, because it's like it's like the visual of it is like a distortion, makes me think that it's sort of like he's touched that area, meaning that in the cage is what he's taken in a way, you know. I feel like that would be what it is. But it never showed that. So yeah, it's another thing. We're just gonna have to wait until next episode. It set up a lot of things in this episode that I think would be answered next episode. That's what the kind of episode this was. You have to just fucking spend so long doing the whole fucking interest thing. For God's sake. I mean, I feel like it was used to an effect of, like, you know, wasting time, because at the time that is gathered, the interest keeps piling up, and it was like going distracted while it went up. So I guess it was a technique that he was, like, you know, that he was implementing there. But fuck me, for a watcher, just listening to all of that shit go, like, you know, basically in one ear and out the other. Fucking hell. So yeah, so we're going into, like, the whole Killua being cautious thing, which of course, like, that was always going to be the case. And yeah, it sucks that he's into this. He's like, because it's not something that he wants to do yet. It's something that his body just tells him to do, and therefore it's instinctual in that way, because of the fact that he's been trained like this. I mean, since he was born, I'd imagine. You know, I mean, it's been something that is, you know, been just implemented, like, within his, like, it's just not, it's, I mean, like Biscuit was saying, it's not something that can just easily be reversed or broken, because, you know, when you're, I'm trying to remember the fucking word, man. Oh god, I hate these moments where I just can't remember the fucking word. It's like, it's like being indoctrinated. Like, you know, you've had all of this fucking information and physical sort of torment, and, you know, fucking training and everything like that that's been, you know, been punched really into your whole life. So it basically affects his quick decision thinking, like, in reaction and timing and everything on the spot, which is something that is sort of crucial in combat, is like your sort of ability to think on the spot and be instinctual when your instincts tell you to do something that you should be really breaking, because it's not really going to help you or your friends. Then, you know, in these fights where it's going to matter, like life or death situation, then that's really fucking you over big time. And then, you know, you saw that when he went to do his electricity thing, he could have done it, but his body told him not to, therefore he hesitated, and he never got anything out. Now, he did use it once. Now, I'm thinking that when Killua at the end there, when he was asking, how did you know, I was like, what, did he forget that he'd use a bit of his electricity? I think in his head, because it's like what his body's doing versus what his head is thinking at the same time, and it's sort of like they're not connecting, like they're not, you know, they're not doing what the other wants them to do. So therefore, I think that he thought that he never actually activated it at all. So that's why he's confused. You know, and I mean, he was talking about that whole thing about not, you know, it's been a thing that Killua was brought up like a few times throughout the show, where he's like, you know, not giving anything away of his abilities versus his opponents. And normally his thing, it's Killua would normally stake somebody out, get a beat on them, figure out what their abilities are, and then determine the success rate of a fight with them, with all of these different, you know, with all this different sort of things of information. So yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, he's having an inner fight within himself more so than a fight with Shoot. And you know, I feel like it's yeah, it's just all going to come to a head next episode, really. Like I said, it was like, you know, if we're talking about volleyball, then this episode was, you know, setting it up for it to be spiked next episode, I think. So yeah, it's just something we're going to have to wait until next episode. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I blame that fucking, that 5-minute speech on interest and all that fucking shite. My fucking brain's just melted. Oh god, and now I've got to go to work, so that's great. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. In the description below, I've linked certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there. And I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you do support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards. There is the early access tier there for $5 a month, gives you access to shows a week early, and you get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week. That's 2 on Monday and 2 on Friday. That's 2 more than the general public get. So by the time this episode actually goes out on YouTube for the general public, you can have access to the rest of my reactions over on the early access tier. So if you can binge watch that entire, like all of those episodes within a month, then it's only going to cost you $5. So it's a pretty good deal. There's also $10 there for full length. That doesn't matter for this show because it's full length anyway, but for other shows you will need it. And then there's other tiers where you can pay to have a certain show reacted to. So if you do want me to react to a show, then you can go have a look at those and see what is up. But that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.